Hi everybody, welcome to Hidden City. You know, there's just no denying it. Sacramento City College is a great place to learn. There's something here for everybody. But just offering something for everyone isn't enough. We have to make sure that everyone can take advantage of the programs we offer. And that's why we're here today. We're going to talk to the people of the Disabled Students Programs and Services Department to find out how they keep Sacramento City College accessible to everyone. Let's go inside, shall we? I'm with Gwen Tracy, who is a coordinator and counselor of the Disabled Students Programs and Services Department here at Sac City College. And I'm going to let Gwen explain a little bit more in detail about the kinds of services they provide. Hi, Gwen. Thanks for doing this.
Hi, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to share our services and information about them. We are a service on the campus that comes under Student Services, and we provide accommodations to students with disabilities. Our students have all sorts of disabilities. They might be visible disabilities or invisible disabilities. Visible ones are ones that you would think of: wheelchairs, blind, using seeing eye dogs, that kind of thing. But invisible include people with chronic pain, back problems, maybe cancer, diabetes, chronic fibromyalgia, and then, of course, psychiatric disabilities such as depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. We also serve students with learning disabilities. Those students come here. A lot of them come with IEPs from high school.
What's an IEP?
That's an individualized education plan, and a student who's in special education will get one of those in the high school or in elementary school, where they get accommodations in the K-12 system.
So with some luck, people are identified at an early age that they may need some help, and so they'll get some help as they go along. Is that right?
That's true, and that would be the ideal situation. The difficulty comes when the students have been identified with a learning disability in the K-12, and yet the definition of a learning disability in K-12 is different than the definition in a community college. So some students might feel that something's happened where they were identified as having a learning disability in the K-12, but we do not identify as a learning disability.
So they might be expecting some help, and you have to say, I'm sorry, but you don't fit the profile.
That's correct, and that is very difficult. So we kind of worked with them to see if there's something else that would allow us to provide accommodations for them, because we really want to see student success, and sometimes all it takes is an accommodation, and they'll take off.
I'm going to give you an opportunity right now to tell us what an instructor or a student might want to do if they suspect that there's a need here.
I would encourage them to come in to our offices or to call and talk to one of the counselors. They can fill out paperwork at the front desk or take it home and look at it and examine what they want to apply for in terms of, what our services are that are available. We encourage faculty to also do that. Okay. And the front desk number is 558-2087.
I'm here at the front desk, and I'm with Marina Thomas. And Marina's a very important person here at DSPS because she is often the first person a student sees when approaching this department for services. Hi, Marina. Thanks so much for doing this.
Hi. Thank you for asking me.
I'd like you to just take just a few seconds and tell us, first of all, what you do, and second of all, what students can expect once they come in here. But let's start with the first one. What is your job here?
My job is to help the students do the intake process that have disabilities, and I help them fill out the paperwork. I give them direction. Sometimes I help them register. We get them set up to meet with a counselor, and from there they get services that they need to help them get through the semester successfully.
This person is Nisha Beckhorn, and Nisha, you're a counselor here at DSPS, aren't you?
That's right.
Okay. Now, what we're doing is we're going around, as we go around from office to office, is try and put together sort of the experience that students, the process and the experiences that students go through when they first come to DSPS. So can you kind of tell us what your job is and how you fit into the student's life once they enter here?
Well, when the student starts to receive services or applies to receive services through the Disability Resource Center, which is this office here, they have to first do an application and bring in documentation that supports their disability. Once they get the documentation in, then an appointment is made for them to do an intake, and that intake is with a counselor, which is, I'm one of the counselors here. So I meet with a student, it's a 1-hour appointment, and the student comes in, and we do an intake where we talk about their accommodations, what the accommodations each student is going to get according to the requirements, according to their disability. And so we talk about what their accommodations would be, what their goals would be, what their services would be, you know, the student's responsibility as to what we ask of them as a student through the Disability Resource Center.
What other kinds of accommodations, in addition to time, can you help them get? Something that maybe they hadn't thought about that they might need, but that you could help supply here.
For instance, shared notes. Students find volunteers in class, and we provide the volunteers with NCR paper, and the volunteers just taking notes for themselves at the end of the lecture. They just, you know, split it and give a copy to the student. Maybe something like preferential seating, you know, front row seating, or some of our students also get textbooks that are scanned on a CD, and students can listen to it on an MP3 player. So a student who has some processing deficit, you know, a lot of our students with learning disabilities use that, where they can actually read the book and follow it because they're hearing it as well, and they're just better auditory learners, you know. And so if they're auditory learners, then they benefit from listening to it while they're reading it. Textbooks are brailled because a lot of our blind students will read Braille. So, you know, all that alternate media is also part of an accommodation that we can provide for the students. Again, it's also, you know, it really depends on which student needs it and where it is a reasonable accommodation. It all comes down to what is reasonable. It needs to only bring up our students up to par with the rest of the class so they can compete for the same grade, you know, but should not give anybody an advantage.
I'm in the Assistive Technology Center, and with me is Liz Johnson, who runs this place. And Liz, thanks very much for agreeing to do this with
You're
us.
welcome.
Can you tell us what kind of services are offered here in the Assistive Technology Center?
In this lab, we have special software that enables people with disabilities to access computers, whereas they might not be able to otherwise. We have screen readers for the blind. We have scan and read programs for people with learning disabilities. We have voice recognition for people with mobility impairments. And we have a number of programs that have sort of study tools for people with learning disabilities and cognitive disabilities. And we teach courses. We teach a couple of human career development courses that emphasize language skills, where they come and learn some of the study skills programs.
Hi, everybody. We have finally come to what I consider to be the most important part of our little tour through DSPS today. And I am sitting here with Norma Guerrero, who is a student here at Sacramento City College and one of the direct beneficiaries of some of the services that they provide. Hi, Norma. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, I'd just like to ask you, can you tell us briefly about your experience working with DSPS, how that may have changed your educational experience here at Sacramento City College?
Well, prior to coming here, I wasn't quite sure I was going to be able to complete my education because of my declining vision, and it's constantly changing. So adjustments constantly have to be made each semester, and it gets sometimes a little more problematic as time goes by. And the Disabled Student Center has worked with me and has really gone the extra mile to try and help me to get through not only my emotional and physical changes in my vision and my mindset, but also to help my professors understand and work with me regarding these changes. And it's been an enormous help
Okay, we're back where we started this adventure. We're in the office of Gwyn Tracy, and we've made quite a rounds today. Gwyn, and I want to thank you for letting us come on into the office and take up your time and the time of your staff, but it's really been very interesting. And, I certainly had no idea that it was, such a complex business that you run here. I really come away with a new admiration for what you folks do.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you, David, so much for giving us this opportunity to share what we do. I think that the best thing we can offer right now is encouragement to students who have any question about whether they need an accommodation to come to us and let us talk with them. And encourage faculty also to come to us. We're a resource on the campus, a very underutilized resource for both faculty and students in terms of accommodations for people with disabilities.